good afternoon, or actually good morning still, folks, because we are going a few minutes before. Obviously, the game. Everyone's here for the Game Awards nominee Monday, as it's known, or Nominees Monday, because there's multiple. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. I'm a lot better. Thanks for all the concern. Lots of DMs. I just have a sinus infection that kind of went left, so I still sound a little nasally, but I'm okay. I'm feeling a lot better. As you can see on the screen, folks, don't sweat it. It's going to be blown up so you can see it in full screen. I just can't do it because the show isn't live on YouTube yet. So there's no option to do that. You're going to get the full sound. We're going to be reacting with you, watching as it's happening. And then once it's done, we're going to be doing a reactions panel on the back end. But we wanted to jump in just a few minutes to kind of give everyone set the mood for, hey, don't get upset. The screen is real tiny on your screen. We're going to fix that. As soon as it's, I think 60 seconds, we'll be able to fix it. You'll get sound, you'll get everything. But let's welcome in Web Dave. Dave, some nerves, some excitement, potential disappointment. We don't know which way this is going to go. How are you feeling today?
Well, definitely somebody's going to be disappointed, and I hope it's not me.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully not. You've made some big opinions behind the scenes. We'll get to those in a hot second. We will have Fuzzy Velvet here momentarily. But Crazy Lou Gaming, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling great, and happy to be here joining you guys on this awesome day for nomination announcement for the Game of the Year awards. I mean, I got a question. Will we see finally Jedi Fallen Order, the Star Wars game, get nominated? I mean, that game deserves to be nominated.
It has to. I mean, look, the game, unfortunately for me, I got about a dozen hours in. It was marred with bugs. It to the point where there were a couple of times that I lost hours worth of save from checkpoint to checkpoint because there's no traditional saving in that game, which is annoying as shit. And unfortunately, I never went back to it. Now I loved the first one. I really enjoyed what I was playing with the follow up with the sequel. We maybe it gets in there. Oh, hold on a sec, folks. Give me a sec. Let me blow this up. Blow up the screen. Let me just lower it a tad so it's not deafening anyone. There you go. Okay, so we're at the countdown. All right, so it's officially going to go. Can I get it any bigger than that? Pause. Let's see. No, that's this.
You can hide chat thing, maybe.
Is there a chat thing? Do you see a chat thing?
No, I don't see it.
Oh no, I don't see it.
No.
Yours, that's as big as you can get it right now.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. Hold on, let me just get in there and just bring that up. Okay, there you go, folks. Perfect. I mean, I hope that you hang out with us. That's okay. There it is. There it is. I got it. Okay, so folks, we're going to take the next few minutes and kind of give you the skinny of what we are putting down. While we do that, I'm going to pause the game music in the background from, because obviously they're not live yet. We will be live when they go live. We're going to react with you. Thanks so much for popping in. I already see that we have already 200 people here. That's pretty good. I mean, I know a lot of people are doing their own thing. I'm pleased and honored that you decided to come and hang out with us. But while we're waiting for Fuzzy Belvedere, yes, sir.
So you wanna unpause your video, bring it all the way up the slider, and then just click the mute button on it on the video.
Gotcha. Yes. Okay.
That way you start your countdown timer.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just do that. Yeah. There you go. Thank you, sir. Okay. I appreciate the assistance because we definitely don't want to be behind in any way. So thank you so much for that. So what we're going to do, folks, is we are going to have some fun. I'm going to. I decided with the guys at the last minute. We should give what we think should be there in no specific order. What 6 games should be at the Game Awards that should be announced. Now, they're going to be much different than what actually happens, but I figured that, if the chat wants to get involved and you guys and gals want to kind of, have this conversation with us while we're doing this, while we're waiting for the big show to start at noon, we have another 12 minutes. Well, we're not going to sit here twiddling our thumbs. So I'm going to let Dave or Web Dave go first. What are your 6 nominees for you personally?
Do you want me to drop them in the chat at the same time we talk about them?
I mean, whatever you want to do it in order. And is there a specific order from 1 to 6, or
I
is
do
it
have an
just
order. Yeah. With
okay?
number
Guess
one,
throw it
number one
out there,
being
but
my pick.
talk about it.
All right. So, well, I'll put it in the private chat and let you see what you think. All right. So, what I think, starting at number 6 and going all the way up to what I think will be the number 1, better be in their option. I think it's the only clear winner, but it's just me. Number 6, I would say Alan Wake 2.
Okay,
Really
strong
looking
pick.
good. Like, it's looking strong. The graphics and the way that they've kind of unlocked the graphics, I think it's really looking good. Big surprise for me was the Baldur's Gate 3. I think that comes in number 5 for me, as where I would put it on the list of like the 6 that I would think would be nominated. The new Legend of Zelda game, I think, is something that I think should be on there, coming in at number 4. Number 3 for me would be Diablo. Some people already, stepping off that and say there's other games that could replace it. Maybe so, but it's, especially with the newest update, it's so enjoyable, so much fun, and man, it's a blast. And the beginning of the year, we were all talking about that. I mean, I think almost all of us were saying that Hogwarts Legacy is definitely a game of the year contender, and it's still. I mean, it's you jump back in and play it, man. It is beautiful, amazing, fun to play. Lots of great side missions and stuff. There's so much to do, and the growth in the games and stuff to learn and to ways to play it that I think it's a no brainer for me. But it's one of those that some people are like, they've already forgotten about it, but we'll see. And of course, my number 1, Starfield. I think that game is, everybody who plays it, like you said in the green room, Boom, and this is Boom's words, everybody that plays it gets a little bit of a different experience, and it's so enjoyable. So yeah, those
are strong picks, dude. I can't argue not with one of them. I think that's a strong pick. First of all, let's welcome in Fuzzy Belvedere. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. Sorry for running a little bit behind schedule, but
that's quite all right, dude.
This is going to be either a great day or a very interesting day when it comes to snubs. So
we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of great games this year. Someone's going to get snubbed. The question is whether or not it's the one that we think. And like I said, I'm kind of 50-50 on it, only because of what Jeff had to say. He kind of put it out there. It was like a Brace for Impact tweet. That he doesn't vote, and that there's 100 people, and everyone has different opinions, and there are no narratives, and that's I don't believe any of that, but it's fine. You know what? Let's bring in Crazy Lou Gaming. Let's get your six nominees for Game of the Year 2023.
Oh man, let's start right off with Sea of Stars in number 6. So well-deserved indie game, really good RPG. Highly recommend it. If you guys have not played it, go ahead and try it out. Then for 5, I got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I mentioned earlier before because, hey, the first Star Wars did not get mentioned. So let's see if this one gets mentioned, actually becomes part of the Game of the Year nominee. Then I have RoboCop. Why RoboCop? Because I'm playing it. I'm loving it. They hit right on the spot exactly how I would love to have a RoboCop game. Exactly. Just perfect. Hi-Fi Rush for number 3. Why Hi-Fi Rush? Because, hey, it came out in a sneaky way, and man, it's so big in our hearts, and it's such an awesome game that we loved and enjoyed to death. Number 2, Starfield, of course. Yep. Why did I choose Starfield number 2? Because, hey, it has to be on the list. I mean, we cannot ignore Starfield. We cannot leave it as people want to say, oh, it doesn't deserve to be up there. But yes, it does. Trust me, it does. It does. Because why is just, I mean, no words to it. And for me, number one for me is Alan Wake 2. Why is it Alan Wake 2? Because the horror is back. I'm loving it. And man, oh man, I'm telling you, it's been such a long time since I played such a good, scary game with such cool details. The profiling and everything in that game is just freaking fantastic. That's my number 1 pick to be in the nominees of this year.
That's true. I mean, it's just a fantastic list, brother. Absolutely fantastic. Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get your 6 before I give my 6.
Sorry about that. For my 6, these are what I expect and part of what I've liked as far as what I've played. It's no in particular order, but I kind of put them in alphabetical order, I think. So we'll start off with Alan Wake 2, primarily because of the buzz behind that game. Not just because of the horror aspect, but the visuals, the pacing, the story. Haven't played it yet, but I've heard from enough people I trust as far as their feedback on games that this is a game to definitely play before the year is out. Baldur's Gate 3, same deal. Earlier in the year, this was almost like to the level of what Elden Ring was, as far as almost like the FOMO aspect, as far as wanting to order it, but not quite into CRPGs, but enough of the cutscenes and visuals as far as the storytelling and even the character creation and character building definitely are things that would appeal to me. It's just that with so many other games out there, I haven't gotten around to it just yet, but it's one that's on my must play list as well. This one might be a little bit of a controversial one, but I think it's well deserved, especially considering how big of a draw and buzz was about this game early in the year, despite other outside controversies, was Hogwarts Legacy. I think that one is deserving as well. I know the controversy behind the original author for the licensing and so forth might bring some aspects down, but given how the team that built this game took the lore of that storytelling and made a game that even somebody like myself that's not really into Harry Potter enjoy that game just on like a magic and exploration and open worldness type of setup. So that game, I think, is deserving of the conversation for Game of the Year. I haven't played this next one yet either, but despite its bugs, I would say Spider-Man 2 probably deserving as well. Not just for the fact that it's a well-known IP, but of the well-known IPs this year, I think this one probably had less game-breaking bugs than another one that I'm going to snub from this list. But overall, I think the team at Insomniac has been doing a excellent job as far as telling the tale of Spider-Man and all of that universe. So this one looks like, from at least on the onset, as far as what I've gotten feedback from people that have played and just the buzz about that game, I would say Spider-Man 2 is deserving to be on this list. Next one, and I'm hoping this one doesn't get snubbed, but I feel just for my personal time that I've put into this game, which I haven't checked how many hours or days it is. It was over 7 days a while ago. So, and I've been doing like 3 playthroughs at this or simultaneously type of thing. I say Starfield definitely deserves to be on this list, given how big of a game it was and how much buzz it even has to this day. Where a lot of people are like, does it get snubbed? Does it make the list? I think it's deserving of the list, not just on the main story aspect, but the side tales, the quests, the different approaches you could take. Like, this is a true RPG outside of like Baldur's Gate. This is a true RPG where you can play as you want to play and build your character or play out your story in any fashion that you want, whether you want to be a psycho killer or you want to be the world good guy. You can do anything in between, and that's what I love about that game. It for a sci-fi fan, it hits on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned. And then the last one, didn't play this one either, but just the buzz in general, Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom. I think that one is deserving of being on the list as well. It was kind of tough because, in all honesty, Nintendo probably could have 2 on this list with Mario Wonder, but I think of the 2, even though this one being a sequel and Mario Wonder being more of like a out of the blue, I would say out of the blue fan favorite, but like for a 2D platformer, the buzz around that, I went with Zelda instead of Mario Wonder. But those are my 6. There are a few that got left off the list, like the one IP that I said I don't feel deserves to be on here is Jedi Survivor, primarily because while it had bugs and other games on this list had bugs, I particularly had a lot of game-breaking bugs to the point where I just played this game to roll credits and be done with it. I didn't like how the gaming media gave it a pass. I mean, especially with being EA and saying, "Oh, a day one patch will fix everything." 6 months later, things still weren't fixed. So
Yeah.
that one feels like it's undeserving. I
No,
mean,
that's, I mean,
I know it got snubbed. The first one got snubbed, but
yeah.
that's just my take on it.
No, I mean, listen, it's again, fantastic list. Now, folks, we got a minute and 47 seconds before kickoff. I will give you my quick list. And this again, no, folks, no specific order. Starfield, Hogwarts Legacy, Hi-Fi Rush, Baldur's Gate 3 for a multitude of reasons. I'm never gonna play that game, but that game deserves because it did things for a genre that I have no interest in, and it really did do a lot for people who do. So that's why it's on the list. Alan Wake 2. I was teetering between Alan Wake 2 and Resident Evil 4. I went with Alan Wake 2 because of the newness of it. And for me, Mario Wonder. Those are my picks. Those are the 6 that I expect to be in there. Listen, everyone's going to have different opinions. The one thing I will stand strong with, and I think everybody on the panel has already said that they are like digging deep for it, is the fact that Starfield has to be in here. And what I said in the green room is exactly what Dave said. This is a game that's genre defining, and it's so vast and so big. That this game is different for everyone. And I think with that said, it must make the list above all. Real quick, we have a very generous $10 super chat from Sin Vendetta. Says, honestly, I'm curious about if Starfield will get the Game of the Year nomination or not. So am I. Listen, 14 seconds, folks. I'm going to throw the sound on for us. So
Boom.
Yes, sir.
Their website already got updated.
Oh, that's not good.
Nope, it is not good.
All right, so so you saw the nominees then?
This is from the Game Awards. Yep.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
There have been so many great games in 2023, and on Thursday, December 7th, we will celebrate the best of the best at the 10th Annual Game Awards, streaming live everywhere from right here at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. I'm Jeff Keighley, and it is finally time to reveal the nominees across more than 30 categories. And to help select the winners, you can vote in all categories starting now at thegameawards.com. This is going to be a very special TGA filled with new game announcements from teams around the world, and in the coming weeks, we will have much more to share. But now, I am honored to get to the task at hand. Here are the nominees as selected by our voting jury for the Game Awards 2023.
Uh-oh.
For Best Performance, the nominees are Ben Starr as Clive, Final Fantasy XVI, Cameron Monaghan as Cal Kestis, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba as Solomon Reed, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Melanie Liebert as Saga Anderson, Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbon as Astarion, Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. For Best Ongoing Game, the nominees are Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. In the category of Best Multiplayer, presented by Discord, Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The nominees for Best Art Direction are Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. For Best Score and Music, the nominees are Alan Wake 2, composer Petri Alonko, Baldur's Gate 3, composer Borislav Slavov, Final Fantasy XVI, composer Masayoshi Soken, Hi-Fi Rush, audio director Shuichi Kobori, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, composed by Nintendo Sound Team. The Best Audio Design nominees are Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. Best Adaptation recognizes excellence in authentically creating shows, movies, and other creative endeavors based on video game worlds and characters. Here are this year's nominees for Best Adaptation: Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. For Best Narrative, the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Wow.
Games for Impact celebrates thought-provoking games with profound pro-social meaning. This year's nominees are A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, and Venba. For Best Independent Game, the nominees are Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. For Best Mobile Game, the nominees are Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Honkai Star Rail, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. Best Community Support acknowledges a game for exceptional support, transparency, and responsiveness to players. The nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. Okay, now it's time for Best Debut Indie Game, which recognizes a development team that hasn't been on the TGA stage before. In fact, these teams published their first game in 2023. The nominees are Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. For Best VR AR Game, the nominees are Gran Turismo 7, Humanity, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village VR Mode, and Synapse. For Content Creator of the Year, the nominees are Iron Mouse, People Make Games, Wackety, Spreen, and Cypher PK. What's your most anticipated upcoming game? Remember, this has to be a game that's officially announced. The nominees are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. Your nominees for Best Action Adventure Game are Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. For Best Role-Playing Game, the jury selected Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. In the category of Best Fighting,
First nomination.
nominees are God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. The nominees for Best Action Game are Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Innovation and accessibility celebrates games that are making our industry available and enjoyable to more people. Selected by a special committee of accessibility experts, this year's nominees for innovation and accessibility are Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. Next up, Best Family Game. The nominees are Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The Best Sim Strategy nominees are Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, Cities Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. This year, these 5 games are nominated for Best Sports Racing. EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and The Crew Motorfest. Now a look at our esports categories, starting with Best Esports Game. The nominees are Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant. Your Best Esport Athlete nominees are Demon 1, Faker, Hydra, Imperial Hal, Ruler, and Zywoo. For Best Esports Team, our committee nominated these teams: Evil Geniuses Valorant, Fnatic Valorant, Game and Gladiators Dota 2, JD Gaming League of Legends, and Team Vitality Counter-Strike. The Best Esports Coach nominees are Potter, Homie, Gumba, Ecstasy, and Sonic. And finally, the nominees for Best Esports Event are 2023 League of Legends World Championship, Blast TV Paris Major 2023, EVO 2023, the International Dota 2 Championships 2023, and Valorant Champions 2023. All right, you ready? It's time for our final two categories. Best Game Direction, which recognizes extraordinary creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. This year's nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2,
Wow.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, finally, on behalf of the jury, I am proud to announce the 6 nominees selected for outstanding creative and technical excellence. The nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards are Alan Wake 2, developed by Remedy Entertainment, Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian Studios, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac Games, Resident Evil 4 from Capcom, Super Mario Bros. Wonder from Nintendo, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom from Nintendo.
Wow.
And there you have it. Those are your nominees for the Game Awards.
A remake over
Trash.
Oh my!
Help select the winners by voting now at thegameawards.com and on our Discord
Unbelievable.
server. I am live on Thursday, December 7th for the Game Awards. The TGA Orchestra will be back on this very stage, and as always, we'll pay tribute to our Game of the Year nominees.
One nomination
And
for
you can expect
Starfield.
Lots of news and updates on what's ahead
Yeah.
for games.
Oh, and it probably won't win that one
2024
just because.
and beyond.
Yeah.
Lock in your votes and get ready to celebrate 10
You
years
know,
of the Game Awards.
I mean,
We'll see you live on Thursday, December 7th.
What are we gonna say? What? Let me just let me
Collect your
compose
thoughts?
myself, folks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
I'm going to pause this shenanigans, and I'm going to bring up some gameplay so you guys and gals could stay with us for the next, I don't know. Well, we're going to do a regular show. I mean, we got a lot to get into. I'm at a loss for words, folks. I'm shocked not to see Zelda there. The Zelda is a fantastic game, but you know, Keasante in there is saying, well, it was very much the same as Breath of the Wild with some building mechanics, so it doesn't belong to be in there. Resident Evil 4, as magnanimous as it is, and it's a fantastic remake, and it's a remake that, you know, is a decade old. You know, doesn't necessarily belong there. Mario Wonder, without a doubt. Baldur's Gate, without a doubt. I am shocked, folks, that we are in a world where the 100 people, people did not, that Starfield seems to be the one without a date for art design, for sound, for innovation. Like, these are 3 categories that Starfield should have been a part of. It got 1 nomination, and I think Dave is onto something. It's probably not even going to win that one. This is one of those situations where, like, I see people in here like really like bothered by this, and you know, again, we have to cover it because the Game Awards, even if we dislike it, are big, and we have to be a part of the, you know, the conversation. I'm not doing a live show to cover it. I'm gonna watch the show. I'm gonna take notes, and that Friday morning, because it's Thursday, we'll be talking about it on Breakfast with Boom, as we always do each and every year. Real quick, Bold Alpha Wolfpack, generous friend of the program, says Elder Scrolls 6 better drop with the Wrath of God. Yeah, I saw some people saying that would be a really big showstopper. It would be Gear 6 announcement of some sorts, whether it's because we're coming on I think it's an anniversary coming up at some point. But I'm I'm Dave. I'm gonna go to you first, brother. I want to start with saying, Dave, that I am not surprised. I honestly, folks, I had this sense of, and I don't want to use the word dread, because honestly, I'm not losing anything. Starfield's my game of the year, so I don't really care what anyone says. I don't need to be validated by the Game Awards to have it in the conversation. I don't. But I said this in the green room, and I actually said this to a couple of people that were asking me in DMs. And this is, and I mean this, folks. I don't mean this is console war. I mean this is Xbox versus the world. This is what I mean. And bear with me as I build this brick shit house. Right now, Spider-Man 2 is in every category, just about. Right now, I am enjoying Spider-Man 2. It's a good game, but it's a game that we have played multiple times before it. Okay. I platinumed 2018. I'm one trophy away from platinuming Miles Morales, which you guys and gals know I absolutely love. I love that game emotionally because of what it did for me. I'm enjoying Spider-Man. I like the fact that it is the Symbionite Saga, but it does not deserve to be in many of the categories that it's in because of the fact that this is a game that we have played 2 times before. And if you take that game and you take a game like Resident Evil 4, which again, one of my personal favorites, will be in my top 10 of 2023. The fact that Starfield, a game that is doing things, and I think the most important conversation about Starfield is what Dave said that we were talking about in the green room. Starfield's magic isn't its gameplay, isn't its graphics. It is because it's so different to everyone that plays it. My brother is playing it like a resource management game. Besides, he's building ships and he's building like bases and things like, and he's enjoying it because that's the kind of game he likes to play. I'm playing it like an action game where I don't care about building bases. I built a base. I put like 3 blocks down and I got the achievement. I'm like, okay, that's that's good for me. I'm good. I'm done. But the fact that all of the categories of innovation and sound and design and game of the year, and in its place are Resident Evil 4, which is a great game but does not deserve, it's a remake. I don't know if remakes belong there. And Spider-Man 2, even though it's not a remake, it's riddled with bugs. It's a fact that it's riddled with bugs. And it's a game that we played. Again, this is not a console war thing, folks. Understand, I'm not dumping on Spider-Man. I am really enjoying it. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, and I will stand on that. But the fact that we are here playing a game from the minds of Bethesda, specifically Todd Howard, to get one nomination, I said I was at a loss for words. And again, I'm not angry. I'm not going to rage on social media. I'm 53 years old, for Christ's sake. I don't get mad at these things. Is it disappointing at the end of the day? Yes. Does this, for me, take the Game Awards a lot less serious? Yeah, it does. It does. Because in that end of the year thing, Hi-Fi Rush should have been there. That's another one. This is the game. I am telling you, folks, if this would have been a PlayStation exclusive, if Hi-Fi Rush launches on PlayStation 5 as an exclusive, it gets a 10 out of 10. It gets the nod for sound. It gets the nod for innovation. It gets a nod for game of the year. It gets all of those things. And I tell you right now, you know what the participation trophy part is going to happen? Starfield is going to win the fan game of the year, and that's basically it's worth. I put it this way. Pardon my French. The fan participation trophy that they're going to give Starfield, that ultimately it's going to win. It's like pooping into a bucket and handing that to somebody and saying, this is the worth of this participation trophy. It's a bucket of shit. Pardon my French, folks. That's what it ultimately is. There are a ton of super chats, folks. I'm going to get to every one of them, but I want to hear from my panel. I've rambled on enough, as Foxy Belvedere like to say, but I love when he rambles. Let's first go to web page. Dave.
Yep.
We kind of expected this. I be raw, be uncut, be who you want to be. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
Well, just the Game Awards website has crashed. It's now server error offline. So
okay,
a lot of people probably wouldn't have voted or whatever. Yeah, so it's disappointing. It's a slap in the face for the hard work of Todd Howard for getting one nomination. Kind of ridiculous. There is a comment. I put it in the private chat that Adele 114 said, and I'll edit it. How the F are there no Xbox games in most anticipated? No Hellblade 2 or Avowed, and I agree with that 100%.
What about this one, folks? Now again, I'm not taking away from the game. Final Fantasy 14 is more action than it is RPG. Am I correct? Now I haven't played it, but I know
it's a role playing game. I mean, it has action fighting, but I mean, it's a true definition of RPG.
Okay, all right. So we'll leave it at that then. That's
fine. But yeah, no, it's and out of all the ones that were on there, that will get my vote. Out of all those that were on there for the continuing game type RPG, that's where my vote would go. Would be Final Fantasy 14. 14 is a great game and deserves what it's.
It looks phenomenal. I will pick it up. Like I said, folks, I'm not buying it new. You guys know how I feel about Square Enix. They're a dump of a company. So when I can pick it up used at GameStop for $20,
well, it's 14. It's going to be you'll be able to play for free. It's the multiplayer online one, so you'll be able to play that.
That's not for me. I will play 16. I will not play 14. Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, so and the other ones, it's just the category is just. I mean, there's so many of them that were just, wow. I can't believe a lot of those other great games got snubbed too. But like you said, and fanboy or not, but literally Spider-Man. Game of the year.
In almost every category.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Absolutely bought and paid for. That's all you can say about it. Keely's is definitely it's truly a disgrace that one would get even nominated at all. But watch it probably end up winning. Who knows? Depends how much Sony wants to throw at them. They have money for that.
It's funny. I went on a rant, Dave, and I had a point here, but I'm old, folks. Like I'm 53, so sometimes I forget. I get in the moment.
Get off my lawn. That one of these moments.
Yeah, one of the get off to my lawn. Before I bring in Crazy Little Gaming and get his stunned opinion on this. This is my point, folks, and bear with me. Please call me out if you feel that I'm being hyperbolic, if I'm being a console worry, if you will. Here's my thought. And I said this to Kay Asante literally this morning when we were talking. Right, my personal feeling on how Xbox is looked upon by the gaming media, and we're only specifically talking about the gaming media, is Phil Spencer, who I absolutely adore as a human being. Is a nice guy, right? And he doesn't want any beef. He kind of wants to he's very much a Ferdinand the Bull like me. He wants to stay under his shady tree and smell his flowers, right? That's Phil Spencer for you, right? We saw a bit of an unhinged one on the game. What is it called with Greg Miller? My God, the XCast. He was a bit unhinged because that was coming on the bad reviews of of Bethesda's game as well as the initial block for the ABK deal. So he was a bit unhinged. And I say this with because there's a lot of gaming media sites that I really do like, but I'll say this, and again, push back, folks. Please, by all means, push back if you feel I'm being overzealous here. What I'm about to say, until Microsoft punches back, because Microsoft is a punching bag for the gaming media. Okay, it's consistent. It is unapologetic. It goes out of their way. They use hate mongering on the brand to generate clicks, likes, and subs. That's a fact, folks. That's not a suggestion. That is a fact. And Microsoft just takes it. They fling their arrows. Microsoft just takes them. They say they go out of their way to generate hate-motivated articles on the brand, on the peripherals, on the leadership, on the games to generate hate clicks, right? I'm not stupid, folks. I maybe I was a popo before this, but I understand big business. And I understand that right now it is lucrative to hate on Xbox. No one hates on PlayStation because they're afraid. They're afraid of what Sony is going to do, the ramifications. And I say this, and again, please push back if you feel I'm being, again, hyperbolic in any way, until Microsoft punches back. And I don't mean physically punch, folks. We're not talking about violently. We're not promoting violence here. But until IGN does not get the next big exclusive because of how they treated the brand, I got to be honest with you. Seeing Sarah Bond in that, testifying during the FTC trial tells me that this is going to, she's a shark, folks. Nice person, very educated, but I don't necessarily know if she's going to stick too kindly to the consistent abuse that Xbox gets from from social media. No one gives a shit, right? People go on here all the time with a J on their name and they say heinous things, and they have one person that's following, and it's probably their mom, right? That's who follows these people. So you really can't get upset when you see something egregious on social media because, well, it's social media. It is what it is. But the gaming media is supposed to be above this, and it is not. And until Microsoft, or specifically Xbox, actually punches back and does not give an IGN an exclusive like Elder Scrolls 6 and goes with someone else, there's gonna be an asterisk, folks, next to every Xbox first-party game. I don't care how good it is. You can think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. 12 out of 10 for you. Somehow, the gaming media is not going to give that game its flowers, and they are going to. When I say the Xbox tax, people be like, "Oh, boom, you're being a tinfoil hat, MF." Folks, I don't say anything that I feel like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. I think most people would agree with me, and I'm going to get to the super chats because I think a lot of people have a lot to say about this. But I've rambled on enough. As in the fine words of Fuzzy Belvedere, Crazy Lou Gaming. Let's get your stunned opinion on this, sir.
I mean, what can I say? My God, I'm still shocked. I'm in shock. I'm in shock. What the hell is going on? I mean, like how Mr. Webb was talking about, like, most anticipated game. There's no Avowed. There's no Hellblade 2. What?
Yeah.
Not only that, Starfield did not get practically anything. I mean, a game that is innovative, it has a lot of innovation in it. A game that actually hit a really good sales mark. I mean, that game sold like crazy.
What about the visuals? What about
the
visuals?
Music? The music, everything about that game is freaking fantastic. And not only that, you even got famous people looking at this game. I mean, we saw social media, all these famous people looking at this and wanting to play this game. I mean, the whole world was looking at this game, and it did not get nominated for Game of the Year. What the hell is going on? I mean, I'm sorry I got to say this, but I call this a total bullshit. This is bullshit. Seriously, it's fucking bullshit. My
All right.
God, I mean, I'm gonna have to.
No, it's
cuss on
okay.
this.
Listen,
Damn
let
it.
the rage, let
My
the hate
God.
flow.
I'm sorry.
Words.
I gotta let the hate out. I'm seriously, it's fucking annoying that this guy goes out and he announces all these 6 games, right? Basically, majority have support on Sony PlayStation, right? Except for a Zelda and Mario Wonder. But then you got Resident Evil, which had support on PlayStation. When the fuck did remakes got nominated? Has that happened before? I mean, was Resident Evil 2 nominated? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't think
If it
so.
did.
I don't know.
And so you put Resident Evil 4 in there instead of Starfield. What? Oh my God. I mean, seriously.
14, you mean?
What?
You said 14 was put in for the reoccurring game, the online multiplayer one.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about like if they're not getting nominated for Game of the Year. I mean, you put Resident Evil 4 in there instead of Starfield.
Oh, my bad. I misunderstood what you said. Sorry.
Oh, okay, it's okay.
Carry on with your rant.
Oh my God, I'm still in shock. I mean, seriously, I am in shock. You didn't get to see Hi-Fi Rush, nominated also for Game of the Year. What the hell is going on with Jeff? I mean, dear Lord, is he gonna grab a PlayStation soon and he's gonna do that posing that they're doing over there on Twitter now with PlayStation in love with it, stuff like that? I mean, seriously, you just I mean, I'm pissed. I'm sorry, I'm just pissed. I'm agitated. Why am I pissed and agitated? Because man, oh man, these games do deserve to be nominated, and he did not nominate them. My God, Resident Evil 4. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I played it, I loved it, I enjoyed it, but to be nominated for Gotti instead of Starfield? I mean, this game was everywhere. I mean, we got promotion. It was in basketball courts. Famous people wanted to play it. It's an innovation. It's new. It's fresh, and it's not nominated. It sold like 10 million copies, and it's not nominated. What?
Yeah, I'll put it to this way. I'm looking at the list now, and I do want to get Fuzzy's hot take on this because I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say.
Go Fuzzy, because I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. No.
Listen, we're going to come back around to it because there's a lot to get into. We have almost 800 people here. Thank you for choosing Double Barrel Gaming as your source for a post Game Awards show. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. I will say this, and again, I hate to pinch pennies, but we're on a hunt for 14K, folks. We are 300 and change away. It would be pretty dope that if you're finding the channel for the first time, you do consider subscribing. I do this 5 days a week, folks. Monday through Friday, all different shows, all different panels. You know what we won't do? We won't sell you hate to get you to like, sub, or click. So before I go into the nominees, I want to get a Fuzzy. Let's get you. I mean, I hate to say this, folks. I almost expected this. Like, I almost expected Marvel Spider-Man to be in there because it's a Sony game. It is Sony's only game this year, and out of the 6, absolutely the least deserving of this. Look, and again, I'm not taking this is folks. I don't need to explain myself, but I will for context. You know how highly I talk about Ted Price and the team at Insomniac. I love them for what they do. I'm a fan of Ratchet and Clank. I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man. I'm a Spider-Man stan, even an apologist. And I personally don't feel that this game deserves to be in here. But we'll get to that in a second. Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get your hot take on this, brother, as we kind of go through the feelings of just Xbox just getting dumped on again, man. I don't know what else to say.
I kind of expected it, but before I even get into the whole Starfield thing, I'm kind of surprised in a weird way, given the slightness of hand that they've pulled, that MLB The Show didn't get nominated for sports and racing. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of surprised at that one. But anyway, considering much like Abdel said, as far as for like no games being listed from Xbox for most anticipated, like Hellblade 2 should be a given.
Right.
But I guess, the fact that it's been on the, Game Awards at least 2 times, I guess everybody forgot about it and doesn't care. I don't know. Maybe Xbox should pull, showing it there. I don't know. In any event, not having an Xbox game there just seems weird to me, especially considering they actually have a roadmap, considering their direct competition doesn't really have much of a roadmap. Especially that since they delayed 6 out of the 12 of the games as a service deal, but we'll forget about that for now. The fact that Starfield didn't get nominated for like the actual soundtrack or the score, as far as the musical score, is weird to me as well. Like that if you've actually listened to the ambient sounds and so whatnot, not just the ambient sounds, but like the music that goes along from when you're in combat versus just flying through space or roaming and exploring a planet, I think that's definitely worthy of being nominated. But I guess they didn't play through the game or probably played it with the sound off. I don't know. Maybe they thought because space is silent that the game should be silent, so they docked it for having music.
Mhm.
But the fact that Starfield didn't get nominated is kind of crazy to me. One particular title I noticed did get snubbed, that I thought that they would be above the snubbing, was Hogwarts, but
I got nothing.
yeah,
It didn't even get acknowledged. Yeah.
So yeah, that one's weird to me. I guess I can kind of understand, but then I don't know. Maybe it's time we look for other award shows that actually mash up with what the actual gamers would say, whether it be via sales or the size of the player base or whatnot. But another thing, I'm now more so looking for a game award show that's held until, or not held until, the following year, like January, February time.
Yeah.
Because it seems like this is more of a push to market
That's
a
exactly
product
what it
before
is.
the holidays
100%.
to get that
Yeah.
little sticker saying, "Oh, Game of the Year nomination" or "Game of the Year winner." But yeah, I would have thought it would have made more sense for them not to pull this. And yeah, I can understand Keeley saying that he's not part of the voting, which seems weird to me. If you're the face of this, that you're not involved in the voting in any way, shape, or form. But all of that aside, Starfield not getting nominated sealed the deal for me. I won't watch the Game Awards or anything Keeley related from here on out. I can't suggest that to everybody. If you do what you want, but this year has
Same.
showed a lot of gaming media's true colors when it comes to certain titles. And I'll
Well, there's
just stick to
agendas that there are silent agendas being foregone,
Mhm.
right? Like literally in front of us, folks. I mean, if you don't believe me, who raise your hand, folks? Who played Hogwarts and weren't completely just mesmerized by how gorgeous and how the attention to detail. I walked, folks. I listen. I'm a big nerd, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But I'm gonna tell you what I did. Because I know there's a big RPG. I know I got to kill some evil wizard at the end of the game. I get all of that. But do you know what I did a lot of the times? I walked around Hogwarts and just looked. How many games do you do that? I did that with
Yeah.
Starfield. I did that with Hogwarts. I just looked around and was like,
Yeah.
I am amazed. The pictures are moving. You stand close enough to somebody, you hear a conversation. You're like, I can't believe this. This game had no right to be this good, and that team got nothing for it. It's as
Oh.
bad for Hogwarts as it is for Starfield. It gets one nomination.
Oh, another thing on those most anticipated games. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did GTA 6 appear on that? Because that's been officially announced. It doesn't have a date, and nor do any of the other ones that they announced there had a date.
I don't think GTA 6 was on there, dude.
Huh.
I don't think
Imagine
so.
that.
No, it was not.
that game is going to probably sell more copies than every game.
It's going to make $1 billion in
nominated
24
combined.
hours. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not anticipated. But yeah, I for me at this point, it's about finding reviewers or those in the gaming news media or whatever that are more so true to the actual game that they're playing as opposed to their possible bias on the platform they prefer, or not being a fan of Xbox in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of that has been shown in numerous ways. Like even looking at the PlayStation Portable today, it's like, and somebody said this in one of the chat groups I'm in, it's like, you notice how when something that PlayStation does is bad, how people are they'll politely criticize it. But when something that Xbox does bad, it's like there's no word at that point. So it's disappointing, but it's to be expected. But Starfield's my game of the year, and yes, this is a Forza fan saying that Starfield is my game of the year because I probably put more hours in a shorter period of time in that than I did Forza. But still love Forza Motorsports. They got a patch coming tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. But man,
I am
this is like Bizarro World as far as when it comes to games.
I'm still in shock. I mean, I can't even like gather all my thoughts. I just want to go out there and just scream and just cuss and just
listen. Let me catch up on the super chats because there's been, folks, 21 of them. 2 of them I read. I want to catch up with them. Then we're going to come back around and kind of talk this out because again we have almost 800 people here. A big shout out to everyone that took the time to check out this small channel. Again, we appreciate it here. Again, this is a mom and pop run organization. It's just me and the missus, and that's it. So we appreciate you taking the time to be here. It is a big deal for us. Dan Lazaro, generous friend of the program. Dan, I hope that you're doing well. He drops a $5 super chat and says, Jeff's shows are shit, and I'll never bore myself to death again watching one, which is very similar to what Fuzzy had to say. Dreadful Sean drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Tom Henderson called this happening on Gaz's show on Saturday based solely on who was doing the voting. Not surprising at all. I mean, it is what it is. Chaos Theory, who's been he's been a channel member, folks, for 48 months. Jesus, that's awesome, brother. Thank you. He says, what's going on with the VGA's man? 1 nomination. I guess he's talking about Starfield. Bold Alpha Wolfpack, generous friend of the program, drops an additional $5 super chat and says, Spider-Man 2 for innovation. Web of Shadows did it first. Like how? Starfield has never been done. There's nothing that you can point to it. I mean, this is what we're talking about. Like for me, when you see Spider-Man 2 for innovation, it's almost like a participation. We're sorry, Sony, you only had 1 game this year for first party. We're sorry. That's what it seems like to me. Because how does Starfield not get the nod for innovation? Like, it is. I don't know. Let me continue. Juan drops a very generous $2 super chat and says 0 nominations of Hogwarts. Really, again, and we just talked about that, brother. It makes Hogwarts, and again, I'm not being Mr. Pun here, is a magical game, dude. Like it is. It's so good. I'm gonna tell you this right now. There were times where I put the controller down, and I was like, I am stunned. This game literally has no right to be this good, and it is crazy. The Joker's back, 1987. Welcome to the program, brother. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, I would say Spider-Man 2 and RE4 are not game of the year. Starfield and Hogwarts Legacy should have been there. See, those are great trade-ins, and I would absolutely sanction that. That is a fantastic pick. Going back to work, have a good show. Looking forward to watching on the replay. Brother, that's very kind of you. Thank you for the generosity, and of course, thank you for being a part of the show. Jax82 drops $2 super chat says Starfield got robbed of 5 nominations. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about this tomorrow on the Xbox Factor podcast at noon. I'm gonna go through because like I said, this week we're acting live. We're giving our raw thoughts. I want to be able to take some time to go over the nominees, and I want to see where I can interject Starfield. And I just a quick glance, I agree with Jax on this. I think there's at least 5 categories that should have that Starfield did enough to be a part of the conversation. I'm not saying win them all. Understand? I'm not saying win them all. I'm saying be a part of the conversation. But Iman Burns has been a channel member for 17 months. Says, I wonder what game of the year is going to be. Boom. I would wonder. I think it's Bugman 2. I'm calling it now. Wins at least 3 of those nominated. Yeah, it's not gonna win game of the year. Baldur's Gate is, for me, I think Baldur's Gate is probably the leader. The second closest one, in my opinion, is probably Super Mario Wonder, because it's in its name. It's just a wonderful Mario game. It's just breathtaking. At every turn, it's just amazing. Bold Alpha Wolfpack drops an additional 2 super chat and says, this is that IGN tweet manifesting what they meant. And he's talking about Dan Stapleton had put out a tweet, and I keep going back to it because remember, folks, I didn't say it. I'm not paraphrasing. He said it, and I quote, if Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 become exclusive because Microsoft owns Bethesda, there will be industry ramifications. And I think, again, my opinion, please, and we're gonna kind of talk about this on the back end with everybody. The closing of the ABK deal. This is the ramifications, folks. Again, this is not me being like some sort of a tinfoil hat nut. This is me saying that the gaming media, the new gaming media, this is their way of protest. This is their way of silently protesting that they don't like big conglomerates, unless it's Sony, who butters their bread, to be the big bombastic move maker. That's my opinion. Please, by all means, push back if you think I'm being, again, overzealous or even or console worry, if you will. But that's my thoughts on it. Doc 50 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, there should be no Microsoft game MGS trailers at the show, and Phil should be a no-show. I mean that's one way to do it, but here's the problem with that. And this is why this is never going to go away, folks. The Game Awards, you're going to think that this is a big old steaming pile. I'm not going to disagree with you in any way. The problem with the Game Awards is that it is viewed by millions and millions of people, ranging from diehard nuts like myself to the person that plays Candy Crush on their phone. And that many pair of eyes are hard to deny the social and sales ramifications of your game. If your game gets into this awards, whether it be through nomination or through like the trailers, which most people watch, right? Most people watch the show for the trailer. It would actually be a detriment. And again, that's my opinion. It would be a detriment to your game if you have an opportunity to be there. So
hey, Boom.
Yes, sir.
I didn't mean to interrupt you at all, but on that comment, that guy's super chat, my thinking on that is just the opposite. Microsoft ought to flood the awards with commercials. They should book 10 of all commercials at least, talking
Call
about
of Duty
Game
should
Pass.
be there. Halo should be there.
Yeah. And even say coming to Game Pass and even if it's not quote unquote this year, saying coming to Game Pass, all future Call of Duties,
Yeah.
and Diablo, and just throw the kitchen sink at it to where they're like, oh wow, because all the people that are tuned in for that,
Maybe even announce
Dude.
the Starfield DLC for next year.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but wouldn't that just? I mean, yeah. So Jeff Keighley gets some money for it, but the eyes that'd be on it, and it would be like and then people would be like, this Starfield, I've seen like 8 commercials for it. Why didn't it get nominated? I'm just saying they just every spot, every other spot be a Microsoft paid for spot, and that would just
you know what? I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, but let me continue. Review Scientology USA drops a very generous $2 super chat and says Starfield was extremely mid, doesn't deserve a spot. Okay, I mean I hear you. You're entitled to your opinion, brother, and please don't be hateful, folks. That's his opinion. It's fine. I disagree 100,000%, especially considering that a remake and Spider-Man 2 got in there, which Spider-Man 2 we've already played twice before. I understand there's some new moves with the Symbionite, and I understand there are new bad guys, but ultimately it's kind of the same thing. And I'm not being disrespectful. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I love Spider-Man and I love Insomniac, but for it to be in the game of the year is a participation trophy by the people in the gaming voting that vote for these things. They're like, oh man, Sony, we gotta pump them up somehow. They've had a terrible year. They've had they're firing people. They're letting people. We gotta push all that to the side. Spider-Man 2, greatest game ever. Okay, I hear you. Better than Starfield? I'm sorry. It's just not. It really just isn't. But okay, fine. Bold Alpha Wolfpack drops an additional, very generous $5 super chat and says, "How is Fortnite nominated for best ongoing game and not Call of Duty?" Now, you know what? Here's the thing. I would say that I wouldn't have nominated Call of Duty. But you know what? I would say that again. This is the sleight of hand. Has anyone in the chat, we have 825 people here, raise your hand, folks, have been playing Halo Infinite Season 5. I'm telling you right now, it is not only the best season, get ready, folks, grab clutch your pearls or break them, it is probably the best Halo that I have ever played since Halo 3. Oh, and PS, by the way, on the 17th, you're getting the 8 Halo 3 maps. I'm just saying, you want to talk about best ongoing game. I'm just saying, folks, watch the screen. There's only a piece of what I'm, and that's my Mark 117 that looks like Iron Man, which is dope. Let me continue. And I don't know why it froze all of a sudden. That's so weird. Let me just see if it's going to work again. If it doesn't, I'll get some more gameplay in that. I don't know why it froze. That's just the craziest thing. Probably because I was talking about it. Let's see. Galvestron drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "How was Halo not in the best community support?" I mean, he's folks, he's not wrong. I mean, this is
Surprised
what I'm talking
Destiny
about.
was even in there,
What's that?
considering they lost most of their community.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maxi Coleman drops in a very generous $5 super chat and says, "How can we get the word to Phil and the execs to please stop supporting IGN and the TGAs? They are mocking them in their faces." I mean, look, I'm going to say this. I think under the leadership, and I'm taking nothing away from Phil. I love Phil. I met that man in real life, and he is who we thought he was. Gentleman gamer, gentleman human being. I talked to him like I'm talking to you. And he knew stuff about me. This is how much stuff that I guess there's a dossier on Mr. BoomStick XL. He knew things that I would never thought that he knew about me because he asked me, and we had a conversation, and it was amazing, right? I think under Sarah Bond, I don't know if she looks at some of the things that have happened with a keen eye. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I'm just saying that unless Microsoft punches back, these websites are going to continue to keep the asterisk next to any Xbox exclusive game that comes out. There's going to be an asterisk next to it on every award, on every review, on anything that has to do with Xbox, because this is the media's way of getting back at Xbox for owning Bethesda and now owning Activision, Blizzard, and King. That's my tinfoil hat quote for the day. So I'm going to stop right there because I do want to continue this conversation, and I'll go back to Web Dave. Dave, there have been some talk in the chat where there are at least, and I say least, I think it's more. I'm not just talking about Starfield. I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it almost feels like the Game Awards this year acknowledged that there's a big old PlayStation out there. There's a big old Nintendo out there. There's a whole bunch of third-party stuff, and the redheaded stepchild does seem to be Xbox, because we're going tomorrow on the Tuesday show, the Xbox Factor podcast. We're going to go and break down all of the nominations, by category, and see where we could, see where the bias is. We're going to try to see where we can insert a legitimately deserving game. And, we'll have a nice conversation about it. For you, just, again, I know we don't have all the categories in front of us. The website is still crashed, and, there's a lot of people that are...
It came back up a few minutes ago.
Okay, so there's a lot of people that are... There's going to be people cheering in the streets. F you, Xbox. I didn't get to play, a Bethesda game. You took it away from me, and now you didn't even get a nomination. You see the game sucked. And that's fine if people think like that. There's going to be people on the other side of the camp thinking like, this is just egregious in every way possible, which I believe it is. Of all the categories, do you buy what I'm putting down, Dave? Do you think that it's like anything that Xbox was nominated for almost seems like it's participation only?
Yeah, it definitely it definitely looks like. I mean, we all know that Sony had a bad year, and one game really that was first party AAA buggy. And it seems like they just had to try and stay in the conversation is really what it was. And it's there's definitely a lot of politics involved. I don't mean political politics. I mean gaming politics, and money and stuff going around. And it's just it is what it is, and there's nothing you can say to convince me otherwise. I mean, people are saying in the chat good points that it's like mobile game of the year nominations, and like Call of Duty didn't get nominated for best mobile. Why? It's because Xbox owns them now.
Indeed, you see, that's another one. Yeah, I mean, it's only the most played mobile game in the history of mobile games, and again, to add to your conversational piece. We know, Dave, that there were already, and it's probably more, but I'm going to go with the number that's been officially announced, 45 million pre-registered players for Call of Duty mobile, Call of Duty Warzone mobile.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
VT Field said it best. It's payola. Yeah, it feels like that. And I was in radio for 6 years, and yeah, I know what that is, especially when you have somebody coming at you saying, "Hey, man, play my record, and we'll do some giveaway trips for the radio station, and we'll give one of them for you and your family to take a trip too." Trust me, I got that crap all the time. Didn't take it, but it was offered like crazy. So, and that's just that is a felony payola. So yeah, got to be careful on those things. But yeah, it's very disappointing. There's some games out there that I don't want to take away from some of the games that got nominated, well deserved. Other ones, it's like, okay, cool. If that's their opinion, that's their opinion. But for a game that's as absolutely as quality as Starfield. It's like was I expecting it to win the whole thing? No, but to get snubbed on a nomination like that, wow, that's just it's really telling of the Game Awards and the way they operate. No matter how they try and spin it, it's that's definitely the feeling you get, and credibility is, yeah. I guess respect is something you earn, and they've lost pretty much all that for me.
Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments from people online. I think most people are. I think a lot of people are stunned. Louis, let's get back to your stunned self here. There are a significant amount of categories where there are very specific Xbox game conversation. Two of which that jump off the page for me, and no surprise here, is Hi-Fi Rush did get some notoriety. It did get some like some nominations. Starfield, I personally think because the games are so jarring in regards to when you're playing them, that they bring so much different. Again, they're so different than a Spider-Man 2, or which is why 4 out of the 6 I really do believe belong there. Alan Wake is a horror game that is very true crime-esque if you are a fan of that. I know I was listening to the Gaming Circle podcast, and Everborn is not a fan of the way it's being told. And to me, it is a bit daunting and just kind of pulled me out a little bit. But I'm an Alan Wake fan, so I'm appreciating the difference of it just being a clone to Resident Evil with the darkness, right? Zelda. Okay, Zelda is very Tears of the Kingdom is very Breath of the Wild with the cooking and the climbing and the stamina and your weapons breaking, but the ability to build in this game is so like if you really, I mean, you can do amazing and wonderful things. Mario Wonder's another one. Innovation is just dripping at every corner. Spider-Man 2 does not have that. It cannot. I'm sorry, folks. Even if you are the biggest Spider-Man fan and you're the biggest Insomniac fan, we cannot say that that game is innovative in any way. It does great what it's already done. And Resident Evil 4, I understand that it's a 10-year-old remake, and I do appreciate the fact they took that long to remake a game, unlike, The Last of Us 2, which is coming next year and will be nominated for Game Awards 2024. I'm just saying, it's Resident Evil, and I'm not taking away from the team. It's probably gonna be my top 5. I ran through the game twice and running through it a third time. I love that game. But when you consider something like, like a Starfield or Hogwarts Legacy, I don't see the justification. But let's get your hot take on this. What do you want to continue? You want to add to what you already had to say, Crazy?
I'm just wondering, when is all this bull crap gonna stop? I mean, I'll be honest with you. When is all this shit gonna stop? I'm tired of all this crap. I mean, for God's sakes, 2 great games that came out this year. As you mentioned, you had Hogwarts Legacy, you have Starfield. They did not get nominated for Game of the Year. Those are games that actually do deserve to be nominated for Game of the Year. They did great in sales. They were really such good what's the word, innovative or innovation?
Yeah.
Innovative games. I don't understand, why weren't they there? Why weren't they added to that list? Like, for example, best music, Starfield wasn't on there. It's like, why wasn't Starfield on there when it does have great music? The music to that game is fabulous. The storytelling to the game is fabulous. The side quests, everything about that game is freaking fabulous. And I don't understand, why wasn't it nominated for Game of the Year? And I don't understand what's up with all these websites and everybody just hating on Xbox. Why do you guys always want to hate on Xbox? Why so much? Especially since what they're doing for the community is awesome. It's fantastic. I mean, all of us who have an Xbox are not complaining. Why? Because we are enjoying what they are giving us. Each and every single time they're delivering what they have promised. Before we were mad, yes. Now they are delivering. So they're delivering great games and none of these games get nominated. Seriously, what's wrong with you guys? I mean, I'm trying to understand what happened today with these game awards. I mean, what's going to happen in the next couple of years when Xbox actually grabs a rhythm, right? Which they are going to grab that rhythm. What's going to happen if Hellblade comes out and gets 10? Is it going to get nominated? Oh no, that's.
Oh no, they'll find again. They'll
find
find a way to not consider it because it was not enough combat, or it was too much CGI.
Too much CGI.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something.
There's always got to be something to hold Xbox against too, you know. And I'm sorry, but it's messed up again that they did not nominate an Xbox game for a GOTY. At least, you know, add two more to the list or something and nominate it. But no, just stick to 6. All right, let's put Resident Evil 4 in there, which I'm still trying to understand why is Resident Evil 4 in there. It should have been or Hogwarts Legacy or it should have been Starfield. I'm still trying to understand how do they evaluate the games they add to this Game of the Year list. I'm still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to understand how come 2 of the biggest games that came out this year was not nominated. I mean, my God, it's shameful. It's sad that it's like a fever with this fan thing, with this. I don't even know how to say it, but it's like they have like a sickness, you know. It's like there's got to be a clinical, you know, thing for this thing.
A clinical term.
A clinical term. Fanboyism or something. I don't know, because it's people just lost their minds. I don't get it. For God's sakes,
it's I don't know. If there was one year, and again, I'm not taking away from. This has been let me read two community members' tweets that I think very highly.
Not only that, that's another thing. Destiny 2 nominated for best community, especially since they laid off a couple. What's
not even that? They're best community. Like a week kidding?
Oh my God! It literally smells. This smells more like a Sony show more than anything. But
it's been a Sony show for years. A lot of people have been saying that. Basically, it's the PlayStation Awards, and Spider-Man being in the Game of the Year, being as buggy as it was, being as again great 8.5 out of 10. No question about it at all. I'm having a great time with it. But it is very, very much the Spider-Man that you played in 2018. It is very much the Miles Morales game you played in 2020. It is very much that game. Now, is that is that much of a negative? Does it make the game not worthy of a conversation? No. Does it make it worthy to be in Game of the Year when you have something innovative like a Starfield that gives a player hundreds of hours or 40 hours and you beat the game and you both come to the same conclusion, but from way different perspectives? I don't know. So real quick, Fuzzy Belvedere, Pong Soul, a very good friend of ours, we'd even consider him to be an extended part of our family. He says one of the GOAT years in gaming, 2 Nintendo games, and a remake, looks and smells like the gaming media. Yep, checks out. And the Black Viking, who I was a good friend of the show. I'm sure if the Black Harry Potter is in here, he's got to be beside himself upset because his Game of the Year didn't get nominated. The Black Viking says this hot take. Snub of the decade, not one nomination. Did this game come out last year or something? He's talking about the big picture of Hogwarts Legacy, and I think that's 1,000% is politically motivated. But look, let's get your additional takes on this. And you've had some time to kind of sit back and hear what other people had to say. You read some of the chat. We'll get to the super chat, so don't sweat it, folks. We're going to get to you in a second. Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm having fun with this, but I'm somewhat serious about it. I'm actually putting out a poll for Snub of the Year. Unfortunately, you only get to pick 4 slots for
for
X or Twitter.
X, whatever.
But I have so far 6 games that, you know, if anything, I don't want to take away from Resident Evil 4, but we've had conversations about remakes and their place in Game of the Year conversations, where even movie awards don't really nominate movies that are kind of remakes in a lot of time or in a lot of cases. So it's almost like there should be a remake category, because there have been a lot of good remakes. I mean, Dead Space to be included.
Yeah.
Throughout these years. And if anything, if they were going to extend the nominees beyond the standard 6, then that would be where you put like a remake possibly mixed in there. But I picked 6 games, Final Fantasy 16 being one, even though it was nominated for a couple other things. But I know that there were a fair number of people that enjoyed that game earlier this year. Hi-Fi Rush, which was, you know, critically acclaimed earlier on in the year, came out of nowhere. And I think in a weird way, maybe the gaming media is clapping back to some extent, because they didn't have the opportunity to kind of crap on it before the gamers had a chance to get their hands on it, kind of thing. Hogwarts Legacy, like I said, if anything, more so than Jedi Survivor, at least for me, deserved to be there, aside from all of the controversy. And I know people were giving it 1 out of 10 because of, you know, reasons behind the license holder, as opposed to the actual team that made the game. But I think that's one that I have on my Snub of the Year awards.
Which one is that?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Now, I mentioned Sea of Stars, but I left it off of the, you know, the Twitter poll just because of the 4 slots. But Sea of Stars, definitely. If an indie game, although you could kind of consider Baldur's Gate kind of independently published, smaller size team in comparison to some of the bigger AAA teams out there. But Sea of Stars was another one, although it got listed in or properly grouped in the indie game of the year kind of category. Starfield, obviously, that's the one that just, to me, there are so many aspects of this game that define what people look for in a game. Like, even though it's not quite Grand Theft Auto in space kind of thing, you could react or reenact a lot of things like you can in Grand Theft Auto, although Grand Theft Auto never really gets considered for Game of the Year either. But we all know where its place is in gaming as far as it being that go-to title for just basically living out whatever, you know, aspects of gaming you want. And then, even though I didn't feel that this should have gotten a nomination, but I know a lot of people that do believe that it should, Star Wars Jedi Survivor was another snub. So if you follow me on Twitter, or if you just search Snub of the Year on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, pick one of your 4 for Snub of the Year. But I honestly, I kind of feel like this may be the thing to do from now on in. Instead of watching the Game Awards, whatever they snub, those should be recognized, primarily because it just seems like, and I don't want to go as far as to say that it's like paid advertising, but it kind of is, like with IGN, even though this isn't IGN related. But it's always funny to me when I see their, you know, the 60-second fix or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, it's something bad about Xbox, but it's brought to you by Spider-Man 2. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
This almost feels like that in some kind of way. The same way, like what Pong said, where it's like 2 Nintendo games and a remake. It's weird to me that the remake actually made it to the list. Like, and I don't know. I guess Resident Evil 4 made more changes to the original story or the original release compared to Dead Space, but I don't know. It's a tough one, but like I said earlier, a lot of the gaming media has shown their true colors throughout this year, and going forward, their preferred platform is definitely going to be under a lot of fire as far as competition from who they used to crap on for years, with a steady roadmap of releases that, like I said earlier, a lot of the thing that's going to make this weird for Jeff in that awards category is that the way Xbox is positioning themselves, they're going to release 4 big titles a year. And even if you don't like every single title that they've announced so far, at least 2 of them are probably going to be Game of the Year worthy or noteworthy. So it's going to seem like, oh, you snubbed this behemoth that now is going to basically be half of your show because of the amount of release titles that they're going to be able to produce over these next few years. So we'll see how things pan out. But like I said earlier, I muted everything Jeff Keighley, everything Game Awards, everything Summer Games Fest. From here on out, I'm going to make it my duty to almost do like the opposite. Like whatever they ignore, I'm going to focus on, and I encourage those to do the same.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, listen, folks. He doesn't know me. I don't know him personally. I've always defended Jeff. I've said that I don't appreciate his antics. I've said that publicly. I think that what he has done for the gaming space as a whole to make it a relevant conversational piece with the Game Awards, going all the way back to when they were new. That is about all the credit I will give him.
Can I jump in real quick on something, because I'm reading off like the most anticipated games, right?
Right.
And the funny thing is, on the most anticipated games, we have games that are probably Nintendo mentioned their games that are coming out next year. That did not get mentioned on the list. And Nintendo games are coming out next year. Not on Nintendo, also Xbox. No Xbox games were mentioned. But on that list, right, specifically, they do mention Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Why? Because it's a PlayStation exclusive. Let's go, baby. Yeah. I don't get it. Seriously.
No, it's fine. It's a head scratcher. That's the best I got, folks. It is a bit of a head scratcher. Let me catch up on the super chats. Ben Full Twitch Clips drops a very generous $2 super chat, and he says Starfield, in my opinion, sucks. Just saying. I mean, listen, he's entitled to his opinion. If he does not like Starfield, okay. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Jonas the Dad has become a channel member. Brother, thank you so much for that. El Monte drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Jeff has always been a PlayStation fan, and that's why I don't like him. It should be called the PlayStation Awards instead. And a lot of people have said that. Fantas Archer drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Jeff's going to catch hell for the faceless media. I mean, I'm sure that he is... look, I don't know what personal stake he has on it other than the fact that he produces it, but he's getting paid one way or another. And I just think that there are a lot of people. It's unfortunate that when you look at as great as Xbox has done for its fans, as great as Xbox has done for its community, as great as Xbox has done for the actual human beings that make the games, with allowing unions and bringing different culture to Blizzard and an excitement to Activision for for changing the culture of what was one hell of a place to work under Bobby Kotick, and the fact that they released a lot of really, really good games, they get no recognition whatsoever. I mean, folks, the best thing I can tell you is that don't support the Game Awards. I'm not broadcasting it. I'm gonna watch it because I have to watch it because I'm a content creator. But we're gonna talk about what was announced. I don't care about now we don't care about the awards at all. Honestly, I could care less who wins. Because it's the snub is real, folks. I could care less who wins. Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Game of the Year noms, not surprising. People hate Microsoft and Xbox. I hate to say it, he's not wrong. Gerald Mack drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I don't understand why we Xbox fans continue to believe that there's no bias against Xbox. Guess what? There's bias. Game Shark drops a very generous $2 super chat and says they're mad because Game Pass made them irrelevant. Game Pass made a lot of people irrelevant, especially the gaming industry as a whole. Like I said, I don't know when you're going to see Sony take the leap, but I don't know. Our good friend, 3-Bit developer, folks, good friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says this: having Destiny 2 be nominated for best community support after firing half of their staff just shows their mentality. LOL. SOT, Halo, Elder Scrolls Online. Nope. And that's what I said. I mean, Sea of Thieves doesn't get a nod. Halo doesn't get a nod with what's going on with season 5, and they have a new sub season coming out this week. I don't know. I don't know. I just think we are. I think you called it Fuzzy Bizarro World. I think we're living in Bizarro World. Highlander 001 drops not one, folks, but two super chats. The first one of $2 says, I would rather watch paint dry over the VGAs. I mean, you're not wrong. And the next one of $5 says they put Destiny 2 in for community. And he says that Bungie fires their community development team. Please make that make sense. After 2025, IGN will be eating crow. Yeah, I just think that there is going to come a point with Xbox that they're going to be too big to ignore. And you're going to see a lot of backtracking and a lot of ass kissing. Because I think there's going to come a point where the same way the media has taken revenge, and you can laugh if you want, they have taken up arms against Xbox because of the consolidation of the industry. They own Bethesda, they have Xbox Game Studios, now they own Blizzard, now they own Activision. This is, I hate to say this, folks, Dan Stapleton's hot take where there'll be ramifications. His, I'm not saying him personally, his view, folks, I'm sorry to say, that's the gaming media as a whole. And until, I said this earlier, folks, and I'll say it again, until Microsoft punches back and lets them know that they are here, this is the way it's going to be. We're not done consolidating. They're never going to get a fair shake in the media. They're just not. I'm sorry, they're just not.
I kind of wonder if Diablo 4 would have been nominated had the ABK deal not gone through.
Yes, it would have, and that's another one of the games. Zero nominations for. I know they kind of effed up, right? They kind of made some changes after the game came out, but they fixed it, right? And people are playing it like Pong Soul, who thinks it's the second coming, but that doesn't have in good environment music. It's not graphically pleasing. The lore and
the narrative.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean, I haven't played it yet. It's one of my sad admissions of 2023. I won't play it without Mrs. Boom. She's getting killed at work. She's doing a heavy job, so I won't play it without her. So when we play it, it's all going to be fixed and be fantastic. But that narrative is crazy. Like, what? Like that's let me continue. Pixelbit G, who's a generous friend of the program, great community member, who's been a channel member for 29 months, says, how does Starfield not even get a nomination for music? Who had a more iconic soundtrack? Dude, I don't know. Jonas the Dad, who just became a channel member, drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, shows how sad Keeley is, a true pony. And Hargeet Shani's here. Hargeet, brother, can't wait to see you and talk about this on Wednesday. I'm trying to put the show together for Wednesday because it's going to be a fun one. Pixelbit, let me know, brother. Speaking of which, I'll say it on if you want to join us on Wednesday evening, brother, DM me. I'd love to get your on the air hot take of what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about what happened. Obviously, it's going to be a conversation for the rest of the week, and I really want to get like people that you hear our opinions, but I want to hear what from everyone else. So, Pixel, if you want to join us, we go 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Hit me up, brother. We'll get you on the show. Hargeet says this after being a channel member for 14 months. He says the list is pretty good. I expected Starfield not to make it into the game of the year, but be in at least the RPG nomination. Hi-Fi got some mentions. Interesting on RE, but it is a remake. I'm still bugged out about Hogwarts, bro. The two biggest snubs today were Hogwarts and Starfield. Hogwarts, and if you want to put Diablo 4, think about this for a second, folks. Think about this for a second. 3 of the biggest games that had the most community buzz that people are still talking about: Hogwarts, Starfield, and Diablo 4. These monster IPs, right? One nomination of all 3. I'm flabbergasted. Like, I am literally flabbergasted. But let me continue. Dean Rivera drops a very generous $2 super chat and says they nominated Spider-Man 2 for 7 awards. 7 awards. Thank you for counting that for me. Got 7 noms for a game that, no offense, Insomniac, I love you guys. I proclaimed my love for Insomniac, Ted Price, and the crew all the time. I make no apologies for liking their stuff at all. 7 nominations for that one game that we've played twice before, no offense. And the 3 I just mentioned, 1 nom between. I'm just saying, folks, best thing I could say that I've heard from Everborn Saga, make that make sense. Ultra Bad Guy. Hey, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the program. Wow, this is outrageous. He drops a ridiculous $20 super chat and says, hey guys, great job on everything that you are doing. As an ex-pony, I came to Xbox because of Starfield and the community. Best move I've ever made. Cheers. That's very kind of you. I'm glad that you're finding that this community is welcoming. This particular chat is ridiculously welcoming, and I'm glad that you're here. And brother, thank you for the generosity. That's crazy. We also have, see, there he is, my man, Black Harry Potter. We'll get to you in a second. He's Jax82 drops an additional $5 super chat and says, this is why Jeff had the media decide the games, so the heat is not on him. It still is. I hear somebody's somebody, like, I can hear myself talking in someone's mic. Maybe it's too loud.
I think it's Louis.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have a.
Okay. He says, so the heat is not on him. It still is because of at least change the number of nominations from. I mean, if you change it to 10 just for this year and you bring it back to I see what you're saying. This is a banger year. Like, there are just too many games. But I think keeping it 6, I'm going to be honest with you, I like it because it can't change. It has to be 6 as it's always been, because then what you start doing, I think it would diminish it. Now, would that have gotten Starfield in? You know something that's crazy? Here's the lunacy part of this. Jax82 makes a great point. Why don't we open this to 10? Folks, I'm here to tell you.
They did it with the Oscars.
Yeah, they did. They did do it with the Oscars, and you were correct in saying so, because there were just too many films. But I will say this: even if there were 10 slots, Hogwarts and Starfield would not be on there.
Probably
I'm
not.
telling you.
Diablo might make it though, but
Diablo might have made it. Yeah. The Black Harry Potter drops a very generous $5 super chat, as he always does, and says, I'm here, Mr. Boom, and I'm so very disappointed. Hogwarts Legacy forever. Indeed. We also have Reggie Bone drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, boom, start your own game awards. You would be great. That's awesome. I would love to do something with the community that's big. I am talking with a few people behind the scenes. We can't disclose anything because we don't know how it's going to go. But I want to do more community events for sure. I will be at E3. I know that this year, thanks to Hargeet, it's kind of show us the ropes of where to go. Because I'm definitely going to be attending, and I'm going to be in tow, potentially with Everborn Saga and Keasante, with a few others. So we're going to try and get there. I need to do more community events for sure. The House Flan, who's been a channel member for 3 months, says Paris is great, but his defense of the media is biased, as he is at least media adjacent. Not bashing him. He's great, but just facts. We see what we see. Listen, House Flan, I know him enough to say that I think he's being fair. He is a part of the media. He is the media, folks. That's what he does. He's a part of the media. He has represented Xbox on the stage. He's represents XCast with Greg Miller and Kind of Funny Games. He has been doing his own thing with Danny Pena for decades. I mean, listen, to each his own. I don't always agree with Paris. Now he knows that, and he don't always agree with me, and that is awesome. But we can meet in the middle, and that's why I was so glad to have him on the show the other day. But thank you. And lastly, actually, 2 more super chats. Dan Lazaro drops an additional $5 super chat and says, Is it a coincidence that RE4 won PlayStation Game of the Year at another Game Awards, and this got nominated at Jeff's shit show, Payola, and no even hiding it? Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing. The Golden Joystick Awards. They didn't even nominate a PlayStation game. They nominated a third-party game, which is just bonkers. It is what it is. And Hargy Chani drops an additional $10 super chat and says, once Alan Wake 2 dropped, my expectation game of the year list was exactly the same except for Resident Evil 4. I had an indie, Dave the Diver, Cocoon, and Sea of Stars. I'm okay with RE4 remake over remaster. Disappointed Halo isn't there. I mean, yeah, Halo should have gotten community support, because have they not been like upfront and personal with the community? Look, at the end of the day, folks, we're gonna call it, because we're here. We're an hour and 46 minutes in. This is the normal time where we stop it. So a big shout out to 37 super chats and channel member chats. So we super appreciate it here. I do want to get to the outros, folks. This conversation is going to continue. I have 4 additional panels, 4 additional days of shows. You have tomorrow's Xbox Factor podcast. You have Wednesday's Primetime Gaming. I don't know who I'm going to be sitting down with on Thursday's X-Vlog Live. And, of course, Breakfast with the Boom will round out the week. Expect us to continue this conversation along with some other pointed stuff that's going to happen throughout the week. But let's get to the outros. Dave, we'll start first with you, brother. Sell your brand. Tell everyone for the best place for the one-on-one type of conversations that you have. And more importantly, where could people tune in every Sunday evening with you and Retri? And I already know, I'm laughing because I know what the title of Sunday's show was going to be. Talk about it, brother. Sell your brand.
And boy, was I right on that one.
You unfortunately were very right.
Yep. That title card will go up here probably in about 30 minutes. But yeah, it's thanks, Boom, for having me on. It's always great to be here. An amazing panel. Crazy Lou and Fuzzy Belvedere are amazing, and I'm so glad to hear their takes on everything. Even though I think Crazy Lou needs to put some coins in the swear jar, but no.
Yep.
I love him for it. I love you more now.
I'm
trying to hold off. I've been trying. I'm trying because, man, I want to go on a cussing rant, but I'm holding off.
Oh goodness. Well, if I was holding off, then I can holler wait for your show this week. So, but yeah, no, it was great to be here, man. And of course, Sunday nights, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and Retri and some guests, and next week's guest coming up will be the Mag and the Wandering Dutch, and we are going to break down the awards, the award nominations, and a few other slanderous things that I'm sure will come up between now and then. So yeah, thanks, Boom. Appreciate you.
No problem, brother. Thank you so much. Crazy Lou Gaming, let's sell your brand, brother, because obviously this week's Xbox International podcast is going to be tested. It's going to be vulgar. It is going to be a WTF type of show. I'm here for it. Sell it, brother. Where can people tune in to check that out this week? And more importantly, where can people hear the more crazy rants that I'm expecting from you in the coming hours?
Man, Mr. Boomstick, like I said, I'm holding off. I'm not trying to, go on a cuss rampage here, but I'm holding off. I mean, seriously, it's in my chest. Oh, man, I'm trying to hold it off because I'm still organizing my thoughts on how am I going to explain it. But, man, oh, man, where can you find the crazy one? You can find me on Twitter, Crazy Louis Gaming, where I say good morning and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And you can find me at the Xbox International Podcast this Wednesdays at 7 p.m. ET on YouTube with Silent Cypher, Sourglow, and the Big Plume. And on Fridays, sometimes you can find me at the Xbox International Podcast in Espanol with Eternal Sedai and ASCAP Gaming. And Mr. Boomstick, like always, thank you for having me on here. And man, Mr. Boomstick, you are right. Chat has been on a rampage. They've been awesome. Chat, like always, thank you all.
Yeah, it was great conversation. Again, some people disagree. Some people think that Starfield isn't great. Listen, everyone here that shows up to Double Barrel Gaming is entitled to their opinion, and you know what? It's fine. No one has to agree. We just have to respect each other. That's what I want, and that's what has been done here. But lastly, Fuzzy Belvedere, by all means, brother, sell the brand. We're trying to get you and your incredible YouTube channel where it's the best place for anything and everything racing to 1K. And more importantly, sir, where could we find you on social media to hear what I expect to be more rants from you, sir?
Just greatly appreciate you having me on here today. It was always awesome being on this show with you, Crazy Lou, and Web Dave. Always love hearing your thoughts on things. And even though we got some disappointing news, but man, it's still fun interacting with you guys and interacting with the chat. Greatly appreciate you guys checking us out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. For those that want to hear more of my rants and rambles, especially when it comes to Snub of the Year, because I plan on making that actual thing. Just follow me.
And you should. Whatever show you guys are on with Mav, I know Mav and Pong are probably going ape shit right now. Please make that a topic, because there are snubs and then there are snubs.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the most egregious snubbery year I think I've ever witnessed in gaming. Like, honestly, it's just
definitely. No, but just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. And you can find me on YouTube. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll definitely find me. But once again, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody checking us out. And don't forget, look for the Snub of the Year, because, hey, if we can't get the games of the year that we want, or the games that we enjoy nominated for Game of the Year, Snub of the Year is the best alternative, I guess. So thanks again.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Folks, again, before you get on out of here, we had 800 plus people here. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because we're going to be talking about this for the remainder of the week. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that is something that my dad taught me with kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special.